Okay, so let's get started. Let's get started immediately. So I'm gonna be opening up. I'm gonna try to share my screen now so that we can start. So please, let's open up our project where we stopped the last time. Let's try to open up the Postman as well as run our server. So that's where we're going to be starting today. So basically, we are going to be looking at authentication and integration. So when you have your API running at the back end, you're going to be using a state management system like Redux to pull in the data from the back end and eventually use it to work from the back end. So we're going to be using Redux for that. So last week we looked at the database. We looked at the MongoDB database that we created. We also looked at how to use Postman to test out the API endpoints. And once tested, then we can actually start using it to start using Redux and React to consume such. So that's what we're going to please. Dolapo, are you there? Dolapo, we can hear you. You want to talk? You're not on mute. Hmm?
So sorry.
Okay.
Sorry about that. I'm gonna be sorry, everyone.
You want to say something?
No, I'm actually here just ensuring that everyone is attending and I'm checking attendance. But
Oh,
someone is
okay.
speaking. Is that behind me?
Yeah, somebody is talking behind me, beside me here. Yeah, but he's doing some other thing. Yeah.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, so let's get started. So everybody, please, can you open up your back end? This is where we stopped the last time. So we were able to set up the back end like this, and we wanted to run the server. So once you're in your back end in the terminal, just run npm run server, so that you see that your server is started at port 500 and that your MongoDB database is also connected. So can we get it to that level so that we can start up immediately? Okay. So once we are done and we are at this level, we can start generating our front end now. So I'm going to open up a new terminal. Please, if yours is running, let me know. If it's not, let me also know so that we know how to get it together before we continue. So can anybody run his or her server? Is it working? So please, let's quickly run the server and let me know so that we can continue. So npm run server, make sure you're in the directory that we are working on, React Auth backend. That's where we are. So I'm trying to hire migration.
Mine is wrong.
Okay. So please, any other person? Okay. Okay, so let me believe this. Okay. Okay. So once we have our backend server running, then we can just go here and click on the plus icon in order to bring up another terminal, because we want to spin up our front end now. Here we can create our front-end application. So you can simply say npx. We already know this. This is how we create a React application. nps create React app. Okay. So we're going to be using the latest edition of React. So you can just put latex there. I want to put it in the front end folder. So put front end there. So that will be the name of the folder. Then we want it to have Redux already installed in it. So to do that, you simply give one space and do dash dash template. So the template you are going to be using is that of Redux, so that we don't have to install Redux and later the way we did before, the way we install Redux and Redux toolkit. So with this command, it will have Redux and Redux toolkit, everything all installed. Okay. So try and run this command and so that we can have our front end. So take note, what is here is the name of the folder. So we want to have another folder here known as front end, just the way we have back end there. So this that's that template simply means that we want to install this together with Redux. So do that and you will have your front end folder with everything. I'm done my presentation. So I'm gonna say Y for yes, then it will start installing. So do that, please. Everybody do the same so that we'll move together. So nps creates React app, the latest version. Then the folder we are creating is front end, and we're using the flag templates Redux because we want Redux installed bundled with the create React app. Okay, thank you. Okay. By what? Data indexing. Database. Okay, okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay. Sorry? I didn't get you. Said what, please? Can you please repeat what you said? Sound? Hello? Just too loud. Okay. So basically, what I understand by database indexing is for a relational database now, you you want to you need a scenario whereby when you are querying your database, there's a fast response. So for that to happen, you have to carry out indexing. You have to index your database. So basically, it increases the search speed of your query. That's what database index is all about. Oh, okay, okay, that is a nice question. So for cross-only request now, okay, I'll tell you what it does first and then how to enable it. Now, when you create your API basically, and you're consuming it for a different domain, it could be a particular front end now. So without enabling that cross-only research sharing, you're going to be having that error because it's of different domain and different origin. Now, the way you enable it now is to just go to you can go to your startup class. Okay, so and do it, or you could put an extension. Our front end, is it up? Can you check? I think my system is a little bit slow today. I don't know why. I needed to have shut down first before I start this class. Was anybody able to do the create React app for the front end?
Sir, it's still downloading for me, but I think it's working.
Okay, okay. So the same thing with me here. So let me give it a while. Sorry? Okay. Okay, thank you very much. So for when you one of the way to prevent cross-site. Somebody is trying to say something. I can't hear you. Your voice is breaking. Can you come again?
because when you do that, people can attackers or hackers now, you could have a way of manipulating your front end and
Okay, so what we'll do while the installation continues, like I said, whenever you put the flag templates Redux, you simply want to install the toolkit and React Redux together. So once you do that, you're going to see a counter application. You guys remember we did something on counter. So there is this counter application that is already there, that is already put together whenever you do this. So, but we are not going to be using that because that's not what we are learning today. But once you do this, it's going to do the basic setup of the Redux toolkit for you, other things, and that's why we are using the flag dash templates Redux. So we want Redux to be installed and set up for us so that we'll do lesser work when we start. So it's another way of building with Redux toolkit instead of doing it the way we did when we are still learning Redux. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. So we have the I got you. Thank you very much. It's a nice question. So we have the art school, art signature, and then the art transient. Okay, basically transient, schools, and then the signature. So that is the various life cycle of what we call now the ASP.NET Core. Now for the art signature now, it's simply that for an instance is created for the entire life cycle of the application. So I'll give you an example now. If I kind of launch my application now in the browser, and I probably need to click on a particular button that is routed to a particular endpoint, and I therefore go to my incognito browser to click on that same what's it called now? That same button now. It's going to be of the same instance. It's a new instance is not created. So that is for the art signature. Why for the art transient now and the what's it called now? Excuse me now, and the art scope now. So it's a different instance that is being created for each request. So that is basically how they go to work. And again, they are also different now for the art scope now. It is regardless of the number of instances that you have in your application, it's going to be the same so long as for each request now. But for why the art thousand is going to be a different
I don't
request
know.
for
Can you
different
mute
instances.
yourself?
Okay.
A different instance is going to be created. Signature, like I said, signature for our signature now, it's the same instance is created for a particular request throughout the application lifecycle. Okay. In-memory caching and distributed caching. Okay. Now for the distributed caching, there is what do you call it now? What do you call it? A server now, a memory server, a caching server that is being set up. Why for the memory caching? I mean, in-memory caching is done on the application. It's done on the application or on the web page or the website. Why for the distributed now the server is set up to handle that caching. What I have Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'll just let me recap what you said if we're on the same page. Yeah, I can hear you. I just want to repeat what you said if we're on the same page. No, you said why I'm the most suitable person for this position and what recent achievements I've achieved, right? Within the innovation space. Okay. Okay. What have you innovated? Okay. Basically, I have in my place of work, I have kind of made the workflow very easy for my team member, and I will explain how that was done. So basically now, in my workplace, I was able to help them automate the testing process via the CI/CD part of it. It's not like I'm a DevOps person. But when we there, we did too much of manual testing, and I was manual testing in school, but at the same time, it could be time wasting. So why do this testing when it could be part of your CI/CD part of it? So that is one. And what makes me the best suitable candidate for okay, what makes me the best suitable candidate for this role? Yeah, I am somebody that loves innovation. I am somebody that loves getting my job done effortlessly. And I think First Bank is a bank also that is innovation inclined in the sense that you're always trying to create a new pathway of getting results and getting things done. So basically, in my place of work, that is all about what I do there. Apart from the fact that I write code, I try to make write cleaner code, look for a way. Like one other thing that I did at my place of work was I was able to standardize our coding writing because before now, when it has a project comes, people write code based on how comfortable they are. But then I spoke with my line manager, which is a senior engineer, like how about we have a standardized coding. When we are creating this repository, there's a lay down rule that say this is how we are coding, this is how what we should follow. So at the end of the day, we will eliminate bugs in our code. So that is also one of the things that I also have done in my place of work. And I also think that me coming to First Bank, if I eventually make it to get the workforce, I will also bring my innovative skills to the fore in alignment with the company's innovation and goal. Other than if I'm also a team player, as a matter of fact, I work well with teams. Sorry? Sorry? Yeah? Yes, yes, yes. Thank you very much. I like that. I love the question. Thank you very much. So, like I said, when I brought up that idea of was having a standardized writing pattern of our code, it didn't go well with my colleague. It didn't go well with my colleague. But then I had to explain the merits to them. One of the merits is you spend less time in writing code. If you can follow the standard, you don't have to go to and fro writing code. So at the end of the day, instead of you to have delivered your task in a sprint, in a 1 week sprint, now you're looking to enter the next week, the next sprint because there are some bugs in your code, and after reviewing it, it was drawn back to not complete, not done. So when I explained the merit to them, that's how they came on board. So how I handle new views when it comes to my workplaces, I make sure I've done my assignments, I've looked at the merit and the demerit, then I'll present it in a respectful way to my senior colleague. Then after which I'll present to my own colleagues. That's how I go about when I want to create change. I don't know if you get that. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for your time. Oh, stand on. Obviously.
No wahala, no wahala. E come be like say na you dey teach my students.
Is it?
E come be like say na you dey teach them. They come tell me say man I just unmute. Say na only your voice dey hear.
First man, when I call me, I don't pass this stage. I don't start answering my question. Sometimes, I want to go hospital, but if they want.
All the interviews where you don't do, I ain't the hot.
Is it?
All the interviews where you don't do, back to back, back to back, back to back. Your body don't hear that.
That's not enough finish.
No. It is still the install. Yeah.
I don't know say flag. What's up this? We'll see there. I don't know
Can you meet yourself, Salish?
Hello, sir.
Yeah, I'm P44, yes. Yeah, I'm done with my interview, the technical part of it, yes. Okay. Thanks for your time. Thanks for your time. You too.
Yes, I think I'm done installing. Somebody wants to talk.
Yes, sir. Say, I'm taking, sir. I want to take excuse for 15 minutes. My battery is low. I'll be back in 15 minutes time.
Okay, cool, cool. I'm recording, so I'll share the video as well. Some other person want to say something?
So I'm done installing.
Okay, you're done installing.
I'm where you are.
Okay, so let's keep going. So any other person done installing? Can we move forward?
Done installing as well, sir.
Okay. So I think we have some people done. Okay, also done installing.
I'm done installing too.
Nice one, nice one. So plenty people are done installing. So let's quickly run this very server, development server for our front end. So if we open up this front end folder now.
I'm still installing.
Okay, somebody is still installing, no problems. So we can see if we open up the SRC.
I'm still installing also.
Okay, some other person is still installing. So we can see features. You remember the last time we had to create these features by ourselves.
I'm done installing.
Okay, you're done installing. Nice one, nice one. So we have this features folder, and now it's automatically created for us during the installing time because we use the flag that's that templates Redux. So we have features coming with these, and so we don't need to create this features folder again. Then when you open this features folder, you're going to see there's another folder here known as the counter folder. So this very counter folder has the things that concern the counter, like the slides and some other things which we are not going to use. So we are going to delete this at some point, but I'm going to leave it in order to run the server first so that you see how the app looks working with these counter. So whenever you do nps create react app front anything, you can give it any name. We are giving it front end. That's why we're having front end here. So because we don't have a folder before, so once we say front end, it's going to bundle it into create a folder called front end and bundle the application into that very folder. So when you say that's that templates Redux, then it installs Redux for you. So that's why we are having these very features folder here. So you also see the app folder, and we know that in the last class we had to create this app folder by ourselves, and when we created the app folder, inside the app folder we created the store by ourselves. You see, so here you now have it already created for you together with the counter reducer, because they have a counter feature already here. So you see all these things, all of them are coming together. So for our own application, we don't need the counter. So we are going to remove these and remove this reducer and introduce our own reducers for registration, or we can call it authentication, and for setting our account, which is going to be eventually what we're going to be using this application for. Okay, so that is the essence of the Does That templates Redux. Are we clear on this? Can we move forward?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's quickly create a script that we can use to run our application. So we want to be able to run our front-end application from here, just from this back in our root folder. So let's get to our package.json. This is the original package.json that we had before. So let's add up a script here. So we have under our scripts, let's add a new script. So the name of this script is going to be client, so that we can simply say npm run client, and we have this front end running. So I'm going to call it client. So here I'm going to tell it what to do whenever I say npm run client. So what do I want to do whenever I say npm run client? I simply want to do my normal npm start for the front end. So I want to simply run npm start, which is how you run a normal React application. But this time around, the application is not is inside another folder known as front end. So if you want to run from inside another folder, then you have to use what we call prefix. So I'm going to say prefix, then the name of the folder where I'm supposed to see this React application. So that is how you can write a script that should run the front end, because the front end is all bundled inside this front end folder. So this is the start script for that. So if I do this and save, then I come down here, I can now say npm run client, okay, in order to run the React application. So try and do that. So for those of us that are still installing, so this is simply what you do. Once you're done, just get to your package.json, the one in the root folder, then just below the server script, you just go on that script, just below the server script. So write in the client script, which is the script that we can use to run the client, and the client is simply the front end. Okay, so once you're done doing that, do npm run client so that it can start up the development server for the front end. So let's give a while for everybody to be on the same page. So those people that are still installing, are you guys done now? Shobande, are you still installing or done?
I'm done. I'm doing this installation.
Okay. Okay, so you can see our localhost 3000 is trying to come up. So that is where our front end will be running. Our back end is running on localhost 5000. So when you're building an application in React.js, once you're done doing your screen, the next very important thing is to be able to integrate your application, to be able to fetch data and manipulate data from the back end. And that is called integration, integrating the front end with the back end, which you can do when you know how to use a state management system like Redux. So it's very, very important, and that's why we'll try to cover it. So authentication is part of integration. It's just one part of it that has to do with giving access to the resources in your application. So apart from that, you have to now integrate other features of your website so that it can communicate with data in your database. So all the tables that we are creating in the database, they are supposed to do something at some certain time to our front-end application, and the best way to do that will be using Redux to do such integration, and that is what we are trying to learn today. Okay, so this is the basic application that is brought up by Redux toolkit. So this is the counter feature that is coming together with this very application, which we are going to delete at some point. So this shows that our development server is running perfectly. So you can this is similar to the counter application that we built, but this one is built by the creators of Redux toolkit. Okay, so once you're here, then you know that the operations taken so far for you, they are very accurate to this point. Okay, so let me get back to the codes. Okay, so are we on the same page? Those people still installing. Okay, I hope.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we can run client now perfectly, and it's working. So we are going to try to clean up our React application. We'll try to remove the things that we don't need, so that we'll have a simple application that we can actually build to become our own. So let's try to do that. Let's try to clean up this application. Let's try to clean it up so that we'll have a basic application. So first of all, I'm going to go to my front end, go into the SRC. Then there are some things we don't need here, like this logo SVG. So I'm going to click on it. Then I'm going to right click and say delete. So I'm going to be taking out the logo. I'm also going to be taking out the app.css because I will not need that app.css. This very app.css. I'm going to click on it. I'm going to right click and I'm going to say delete. Okay, so once I'm done deleting this, I'm now going to go into the app.js. Since I no longer have the logo, I'm gonna take out this logo line. I don't want to have any link to these features counter because that's not what I'm going to be working with, so I'm going to take it out as well. Okay, so here too I'm gonna remove everything. You see, this is what we are seeing on the other side when we run our application. So I'm gonna remove everything inside this div. So this very root div, I'm gonna remove everything. I think we've done something like this before. So I'm going to take it up to this div. I'm going to say remove. Okay. So I don't have that again. So what I'm going to do is to simply put h1 and name it account management app. Okay. So I'm going to simply add this h1, but instead of hello sandbox, I'm going to have account management app.
You're welcome. You're welcome, oh
So
God.
I'm even removing this class name as well. I don't need it. So I just want to have a simple div. I'm going to Control S to save
No,
now
Teams consume more than Google Meets.
and see whether the app is still running. So we'll go to the front end and check it out and we can continue. Okay. So I'm still having error. App.css can be resolved. Okay. You know, I removed app.css, so I'm going to still remove it. Then I'll save.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's running now. So I can go check
But it has a
the
lot of features that Google Meet. That's the problem.
check the front end now. Okay, so you can see now I'm having account management app because I've just cleaned up the application. Okay, that's where we should be in. So I don't know whether everybody's up to speed to what we are, to the place where we are now, so that we can continue.
I don't know if you can feel version though, but I know I've had meetings with corporation of Google Meet before. I don't know if they were using free or paid ones, but I know I've had meetings with corporations.
Osaho, I beg, just reduce your voice more. Okay, so are we there? Are we on the same page? Can we continue?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so once we've done this, let's quickly check out our index.js. If you check out our index.js, we are going to see that you see the store is already brought in and wrapped. So you see the app is already wrapped by the provider and given this attribute store. And this is what we're expected to do if we're using Redux to build this application. But you know, we use the Redux flag. So once you use the Redux flag, the Redux toolkit will do this already for you so that you don't have to do them by yourself. So we're going to go into the store.js folder in the app. So you know the store is inside the app folder. So while we're here, we're going to remove the reference to this counter slides because we don't need that reference. So I'm going to remove it because we are not using counter slides here. Then I'm also going to remove this. So once I do that, I can save my application and it should still work. Okay, so once you've removed the reference to that, the next thing will be for you to get the CSS that we're going to be working with. So we have already a made CSS that we can use, which I'm going to send to your WhatsApp now. So get it, it should be put into the our index.css. So let me quickly get that. Okay, so I'm gonna pull up this very CSS. Okay, so I'll put it inside your group so that you guys can get it. Okay, so I just put it in the group chat. So that's the custom CSS that we're going to be using for this application. So I'm going to go back to my code and get to index.css. So when you get to your index.css, you see this here. So I'm going to remove everything that is there and replace it with the custom CSS that we're going to be using. So I will save now, and I'll try to go check out my front end and see the way it is looking now. Okay, so basically what is inside this CSS is this is the default setting for everything. Then these are the properties and the values for the body, for the A tag, for the P tag. I hope we already know this. So that's the CSS we're going to be using. So let's check it out and see whether it had any effect on this. Okay, you can see the font. I think the font changed. Okay, so please let's try and get in the CSS and let me know so that we can continue. Are we there? Once we are there, let me know so that we can. Are we there? Once we are there, let me know so that we can continue.
I'm there.
Okay. Please, I'm going to paste something to our Slack as well. So let's check it. We'll just put it on top so that we can have the Poppins font as our font in this project. Let me check this Slack. Okay, so please let's have that reference to that font up here. Once you put it, make sure you change this to normal dot so that it doesn't error on you. Okay. So let's import from these from Google API these very fonts. Poppins. We want Poppins to be our font. So let me check and see whether, okay, so it has changed now. The font has changed. So I want us to use Poppins font. That's why we pasted that. So check it out on your WhatsApp. You see it there. So once you put it, make sure you change this simple single quotes, because I got it from Slack. So you know that Slack normally changes the quotes. Okay, so once we are done with this, let's get to the features. We want to remove these very features. This very counter, we don't need it. So we're going to right click on it. We know that we've already removed the reference to it before. So we're going to delete this very folder counter, because we want the features folder to be empty. So are you sure you want to move counter folder to trash? Move to trash. Okay, so now our features folder is now empty because we are not using counter. That's why we needed to take it out so that we don't have it there. Okay, so the next thing we are going to do will be creating the pages. That's the next thing we are going to be doing. We need to create the pages that we're going to be using, and we've already established that in order for us to create the pages, we need to create them in a folder known as pages. We already established that while learning our React. Okay, so let's quickly do that. So we click on top of this very src folder, then we'll click on folder, create new folder, and the name of the folder is going to be pages. So this is where we are going to be creating our pages. Okay, so now under folder we are having the app folder, the features folder, and the pages folder. So take note, those are the folders we are having now. So make sure your own folder structure is looking exactly the way mine is looking. Okay, so once you're done doing that, we'll now create the folders that we need inside this pages folder. So I'm going to create the first one, and that first one is going to be login page. So we have login page. So I'm going to call it login.gxss. So that's the first folder, the first file, I mean. So we're going to also have another file for the register. We're going to call it register.jsx. Okay, so login is going to show how the page for logging in. Register is the page for registering. Then if you're registered and logged in, you have the access token, then you're going to be led into another page known as the dashboard page. So the dashboard can only be accessed by people that are logged in. So very, very important. So we're going to also have dashboard.jsx. Okay, so those are the folders that we have. So please quickly create these. I mean, those are the files that we have. Please quickly create those files: login, register, and dashboard. Please let me know when you're done doing this so that we can move forward. Okay, who is done? SO. Who is SO? Is it okay, Sarah? Who? Okay, Fumilola. Okay, Fumilola. Yeah. Okay, Sarah, you're done too. Nice one. And you have your folder structure exactly the way it is on mine. Okay, perfect, 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 perfect. So the next thing we're going to do is to run our normal script to have them filled up. And we already know the script we are using, RAFCE. Okay, press tab. So this is for dashboard. So I'm going to save this for dashboard. Then I also go to the login and run the same script, RAFCE. Press the tab. This for login. I'm going to Control S to save. Then I'm going to go to register and I'll do the same. RAFCE and press the tab. Okay, so I have my 3 pages filled in and ready to collect the main things. Okay, so put it together so that we can test out the routing and make sure that we can route between these various pages and before we start creating their contents. So when you're done, let me know please so that we can move faster, please. Once you do what I've done, let me know so that we move.
Done.
Okay, so let's quickly get to the app.js. So want to be able to bring in these components into this very app.js and wrap them up with our React router. So in order for us to do this, we need to first of all install React Router DOM. So for you to do this, please quickly open a new terminal because we want to make sure that we are in the front end folder. So open up a new terminal so that it doesn't interfere with what we are having. So inside this new terminal, please cd into front end. That is where you're supposed to install your React Router DOM. If you do it in the backend or in the root folder, it's not going to give you what you want. Okay, so inside here, I'm going to simply say npm install React Router DOM. Okay, so let's do that. Npm install React Router DOM. Okay, npm install React Router DOM. So let's do that so that we can have React Router so that it will help us in routing these various pages that we just created. Okay, my battery is down. Wow, there's no light. Jeez. Please let me know when you're done.
I'm done, sir.
Okay, some people are at lightning speed. Fumilola, very fast. I like that.
Network is okay.
It's very okay there, ba?
Yes, sir.
Nice one. Okay, so sorry, I'm trying to connect my power source. My laptop is already down. Okay, class, are we there now? Are we together there? Okay. Did you say yes or no? No, okay.
Yes, sir. We're together. Yes, sir.
Okay, somebody said no. Okay, so let me believe you're still installing, but while you're installing, let's quickly do this before my battery goes down so that I can easily link up. So I'm going to import React Router the routes and the routes from React router DOM. Okay, so I'm gonna say import, and we know these are named imports, so I'm gonna say browser route. I think is basically what they have there that I want. So I want the browse router as router, the route, and I don't really need switch. We are not using switch. So where we need to use switch, we are using link for that. So I'll need router, routes, and route. So I need routes, then I need route. So those are the three I need, and I need them from React router DOM. So please make sure you have that. So once you have that, import all the pages. So I'm gonna import, we know the pages that we have. We have dashboard, and we are getting dashboard from component dashboard, no? So we're getting dashboard from we're getting it from pages. So we're getting it from dot slash pages. That's where they are, in the pages folder, and the name is dashboard. Okay, so dashboard, I hope I got the spelling. I think I do. So let me import the other page. So I have login from login pages. Okay, then finally I'm gonna import register from register and pages. Okay, so those are the three pages that I need. So once I have them, I should be able to wrap them up with router that I've installed, because I brought in browser router as router, so I'm going to use that to wrap them all up. So I'm going to come just below this div, and I'm going to use the router here. So router. So once I put it here, make sure that I put it also down here. So this time around, the closing tag, router. So use the router, which is the browser router. Why I called it router here is because I'm bringing in browser router as router. If not, you would have just written browser router, browser router. But if you're giving it an alias, then you can simply use the alias for that. So please, let's do that. Let's do that. Then we're going to take out this account manager, because I want to put something else there. So we're going to have another div. So this very div, we have a div with class name of container in our CSS. So that's what we are going to be using here. So class name equal to container. So that's the div that is going to be wrapping everything. So once I do that, I'm going to close up that div here. Okay, so please, I want this thing to be just an empty fragment. Okay, so let's have that. Am I still having error? Expected this.
The opening div is not closed.
Opening div. Oh, that's it. That's true. So please, let's have that. So let's have that. Okay, so once we have that, then let's bring in the various routes. So I'm gonna have routes opening, and make sure that I close it back here. Routes. Okay, so inside it, I'll put the various pages, links to the various pages. So in order to bring the various, okay, it's already there. So we'll say route space path. Then the first is going to be if you're logged in,
Sorry, what is
it's going to be the dashboard. The first page / will be dashboard. Okay. So the next one is going to be, please make sure that you open this so that you don't get error. So the next one, the same thing, but this time around is going to be for login, and the last one for the register. Okay, so I believe we are okay now. So we save so that we can go test it out. Okay, so once we are done doing this, we can simply go test out the routes / login and register. So let me quickly do that. So if we have this / you see / now, we're having dashboard here. Can you see dashboard here? So if we say /login, if I put /login and press enter key, I should be seeing login here. It's trying to reload. So if I also put /register, I should see register. If I'm not, then there's an issue which we'll go back and rectify. Okay, so you can see it here, login. So it's working perfectly. So let me try out register /register. Okay, so those are the various routes. So you can see login is showing here, but once it links up with register, it should be showing register up here. Okay, you can see register here. So you can see that the routes are done well and they are linking up to their various pages. So please let everybody do same so that we'll get to the same levels, then we can move forward. I'll quickly get to where I can plug my laptop because of light so that we can continue. So while I move, make sure you're trying to do same. Who is able to do it to this level and his or hers is working perfectly?
I'm with you, sir.
Okay, okay, nice one. Please, I'm gonna walk down the staircase now so that I can get my system plugged. But while I'm doing that, we'll use the opportunity and wait for other people. Is there light up here? Wow. Yes, I hear. Yeah, all good. Peace.
Okay, is it possible? 20,000 less.
Bro, fine. Yes, class, are we able to see my screen? Sorry, I had to go to where I can plug in my laptop screen. Can you see my screen and can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So are we together? Are we at the same page now?
Yes, yes, we're together, sir.
Okay. So let's keep going. Let's keep going. So I hope no further issues. Some people were still installing the last time. I don't know whether they are done now, so that we can continue. So let's quickly continue. So we are going to create a header that will have navigation so that we can simply by button click navigate between the pages that we have. Because now for us to navigate, we have to go into the browser address bar and put in the navigation. So we don't want to do it that way. So we want to have a navigation. So quickly, let's get into this CRC folder. So that header is going to be a feature that will be shared by both the dashboard, login, and register. So for us to have such, it has to be inside the components folder. So we're going to click on this SRC, click on folders, new folder, so that we can create the components folder. Okay, so we're going to have components as the name of the folder. Okay, so inside this very component folder, we're going to have the file header.jsx. Somebody cannot see my screen. Please, can you confirm that you can see my screen? Every other person, let's know where the problem is coming from.
You can see your screen. That's it.
Okay, so they can see my screen. So it has to be from your own end. So please check out what the problem is so that we can continue. So once you're here, please run the RA FCE snippets and press start to get in the content of the header. So let's do that to get in the content of the header. So once we are able to do that, then we're going to be using some icons, some React icons to make our app to look very elegant. So instead of having to design our icons by ourselves, so React already has icons that we can use that are very, very well sized, so that when we place them into positions, they will occupy the right area that we want on our web page. So we don't need to reinvent the wheel when we have resources like that. So we're going to be able to use that. So open a new terminal and install React icons. Let's try and do that. Let's open a new terminal and install React icons. We have some terminals opened already. Let's see whether we have one that we can do that. Make sure you're doing it in the front end folder because that's where we are working. So here we have okay, I think this would be the best place to do it because we're already in the front end folder. So let's do npm install React icons. Npm install, install React dash icons. Okay. So let's get that in React icons. So we're going to be using it. You're going to see how it will look very cute using React icons to work.
Sir, can I see your index.js file? I just want to take a look.
Okay, ma'am, I'm going to open it up. Index.js. So this is my index.js file.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, so once we are done, let's get to our header.js. Let's try to develop this header.js. So first of all, we're going to import some certain things that we're going to be using, and number one is going to be the icons that we want to use. So I'm going to say import, and it's going to be a named as named import. So I'm going to be importing fa sign out. So whenever you want to bring icon for sign out, that is what you're using, fa sign out. So that is how you write it, fa sign. Okay, let me bring in sign in first. Okay, then let me also bring in fa sign out. That's how you bring it in. Then for a logged in user, let's say fa user. So fa sign in alt, fa sign out alt, then fa user. So those are the three we are bringing in. And we're going to be bringing them in from React icons FA. So FA simply stands for font awesome. So font awesome is actually the people supplying these icons for React. So that's why we say React icon slash FA. FA simply means font awesome. So we're using icons from font awesome. So we're going to be using these three. So that's why we brought them in first. So the same way we are going to now bring in link, because you already know if you want to use React Router DOM, we want to link up our files, that is what we're supposed to use. So we're going to be bringing in link, and you know where link is coming from, React Router DOM. So those are the two imports that we need. So once we are done importing them, we can now start developing these very applications. So first of all, we're going to use a class that we already have. inside our index.css. So you can check it out. So you're going to find out that we have this very class known as this tag known as header section. Okay, actually we have the header, we are using the header section, but we have this very class with class name header. Okay. So header. So try and make sure you bring it in, and once you bring it in, always make sure you close it up. If you don't, it's gonna give you error message. Okay. Okay, are we together here so that we can continue?
Yes.
Okay, so inside this header class, we are going to have a div that has our logo. So let's have a div that has our logo. We're gonna call it div with class name logo. So I'm gonna just use what is here, but actually the one we have in our CSS is just logo. So I'm gonna take this out. So once I do this, I make sure that I close it down here. So I'm just closing this div that I just added so that I don't have error. So please take out this other one, I don't need it. So inside this our div, I'm going to have our logo there. And this our logo is going to be simply a text account manager app. But we're going to be able to put it inside a link so that once we click this account manager app, we can link to the dashboard, which is the home page. So let's put it inside a link. We're going to simply go in and then have link to, which is the way we go about this. So what are you linking to? You're linking to the home page. So what do I want this text to have? So I want it to have account manager app. Okay, so get yours like that. So once we are done, then under this div, we are going to have our unnumbered list that's going to have link to our login and link to our register. Okay, so let's do that. Let's have a UL. Let's open it and close it up. Okay, so inside this UL, we are going to have our list. Okay, so we're going to have our list. So make sure you always close anyone you open, close it up immediately so that it doesn't get you confused in the long run. So I'm going to have two of these links. So one is going to be for the login and the other one is going to be for the register. So for this first one, I'm simply going to have link to, okay, but I want the first one, I want it to be login. So please change this to login. You know we already have this route, we already created it, that's why we're having it here. Okay, so we have login. Then for this one, we're going to have link to register. Okay, so those are the two links we are going to be having. So have them laid out that same way. So once you run this, you're going to have just them as text, but we want them as the icon that we brought in. So we're going to wrap them up with the icon. We're going to put in the icon. So I'm going to just come here, click here, press the down arrow, and bring in the FA sign in that we are using. FA sign in auths. Okay, then I'm gonna close it up. Whereas for this very one, I'm gonna click down and still bring in FA user. Okay, so with that we are done for this. So try it out. So I'm going to save these, and so take note, this is for the icon. Want the icon to be directly beside the login. This is the icon for signing. I want the icon for logged in region or for register person to be just in front of this register. So let's quickly do that and try to import this very thing into the app.js. Okay, so let me get to app.js. I'll still open up this. I want to just test it out so that we can continue. So just below these, let's simply import header. This spelling is not right. Import header from. So it's gonna be dot component dot slash component header. Okay. So once you bring it in, just put it on top of the route. Make sure you don't put it inside the route. Once you put it inside the route, this route that has S, you will have issues. So just put it here. Header. Okay. So once you do this, save and go check out what your code is at this point. Okay. So should I open up the header.css? You still want to look at it? So it's trying to run. Okay, we have sign out that we've not used. Okay, so since I've not used the sign out, I'm gonna just take it out, but it's just a warning. It will still run well. So let me take out this sign out since we are not using it yet. Okay, so please let's get to this point so that we can move forward. So if I go back now to my browser, this is where we are. Okay, so you can now see this is the logo, account manager app, this is the login, and this is the register. So if I click on the login, you see I'm seeing login here. If I click on register, I'm seeing register here. Then if I click on this, I should have dashboard. So I think this is working perfectly. Please let me know if you're on the same page, everybody. So you can see this FA sign in alt and FA user. You can see how cute they are. So this is that very icon. This is the sign in icon, and this is the user icon, FA user icon. So they are looking very good. So instead of designing this with Photoshop or any graphic software, so you can simply install React icons and use them for this. Okay, are we together? Let me know, please, so that we can increase the pace.
Yes, sir.
Is the on running? Fumilola?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's running.
Mm-hmm. Sarah, what about you? Okay. Nice one. Nice one. Class, please let me know. Class, please let me know when we are ready so that we can move forward, or do we just move forward? Are we ready? Are we all together? Do we continue? Okay, so let's get it started. So let's quickly develop our register.js variable. So we can see that we're just having this, we want to put in the real content of the form. So let's put in the real content of the form. Okay, so quickly let's get to these our return statements and try to wrap everything up with an empty fragment. That's the first thing we'll do. So this is what we'll call an empty fragment, so that we don't have this another div, an extra div added. That's why we're using empty fragment. So we're using it to wrap up everything that we're going to be having inside this very register return statement. So first of all, we're going to quickly, let me use tab for this. I don't want to use too many tabs. Okay, let me just use tab. So let's have a section with a class name of heading, because we have that heading selector in our index.css. So let's have a section with a class name equal to heading. Okay. So that's the first one we're having. So inside this very section, we're going to have h1 that will have this register together with the FA user icon. So let's do that. Okay, so we already have this h1. For the contents is going to be register and FA user icon. So we already have register. So let's add up this FA user icon, because we want this icon to be seated right before the register. Okay, so I'm going to bring down this h1 so that it will be on the same level as the other h1. So please, let's have this exactly the way it is. So this is for the icon and this for the lettering. And below this h1, let's simply have, please create an account. And let's put it inside a paragraph tag. Please create an account. Okay. So once we have this, we can save it out and go check it out. So this is under the register page. So let's quickly put that together. Okay, saying FA user, we don't have it here. So I'm quickly going to import FA user, and we know where we can get it from Redux.com. So I'm going to say import, I say named export FA user from this, okay? From Redux.com, that's FA. So I'm going to save. I think that should take care of the problem, and we shouldn't have an error, okay? So we're cool now. So if I get back to my browser, so when I click on register, so you can see what we're having now. We're having please create an account, register. So that's what we just put now. So please, let's get to that point, everybody. Yes, Chidu, I'm recording as well, so we're gonna have video, full video of everything. Well, it's good you follow as well. Thank you. Please let me know when you're done with it so that we can move forward.
I'm done, sir.
Okay. That's Sarah. Is this Sarah or Fumi?
Lala.
Okay. Lola, you're so fast today. What's popping?
My system is complete.
Oh. It has to keep cooperating like this, like seriously. We're moving at lightning speed. Who else is done? Sarah.
I'm done.
The ladies are performing very well today. Is it Jeremiah? Allow?
Yes, I'm done also.
Okay. Shabandi, Abdurrahman. Okay. Looks like everybody is done. So let's go on to create this one. So this is the first section that is having the heading. So you can see the heading class name for the CSS. We all know that we are referencing the index.css, which I gave us the code for. So it has a selector with this class name heading. That's why we're using it here. So let's get to another section. Okay, so this section we're going to call it, use the class name form for it, because we also have in our CSS file form. Okay, so like I said, once you're done with every opening tag, make sure you have a closing tag to it so that you will not have error or get confused as you're putting together your code. Okay, so that's the closing tag for that. Okay, so inside here we are supposed to be having a form, and we're going to be giving it, should I give it on submit yet? No need. Okay, let me just build it out first. So I'm going to open and close a form, very, very important. So I'm going to set up a div, and I'll call that div form group, because we also have CSS for form group. Okay, so I'm going to close the div immediately so that it will not confuse me later. So please take note where this is being built out, so that when you're trying to do yours as well, you will not be making mistakes. So once you have an opening tag, close it up immediately with a closing tag. Okay, So that's the div for the form group. So we're now going to bring in the input that we are supposed to use for this. Okay. So we're gonna be bringing in input type test placeholder username. Is that what we want? Almost, but let me take it easy so that we don't make a mistake. So input, I'm gonna press a tab, type test, that's what I want. Then the next thing will be not placeholder. I'm going to have a class name for this input, which is form control, because we also have this in our CSS. So I'm going to say class name equal to form control. Yeah, that's what I want. Then I'm also going to attach the ID of name. So I'm going to attach the ID of name to it. And I'm going to give it a name of name as well. Then also value, because I'm going to be having a controlled element, controlled form. So I'm going to be giving it a value of name as well, because we're going to be using use state to manage the local state. Then I'm going to be having placeholder, and the placeholder is going to be saying enter your name, enter your name. Okay. Should I give it unchanged? No need for unchanged, since I'm not started managing the local state. So I'm going to quickly close this input so that I don't get an error. So I'll close the input. So save this and go take a look at it. So when you're building out this form, you might think that we are writing something that is very long, but you find out that after doing the first one, we can just copy and paste the rest. Okay, so we have an error that says unexpected use of name. Search for what learn more about. So what's the unexpected in the use of my name there? Okay, so before I create the what's it called, the local state, let me just call this num1. See whether it takes care of this error for now. Then when we start building in this token, still the same problem. Num1 is not defined. Okay, so let me take this out totally. When we define the state, it will take care of it. Okay, so it's working now. So I'll simply get to see what it looks like here. Okay, so you can see the input text. So the placeholder says enter your name, and that's why we are having enter your name here. Okay, so are we all together with this? So that will show us how to just create out the other ones. Okay, so we are together. So I'll just copy this very form group. So look at what I'm doing. Just took out the form group. See where it ended. This very div. I'm gonna say Ctrl C to copy it. So we're supposed to have enter your name. Then we're supposed to have enter email, password, and confirm password. So we have name, email. So we're supposed to have password and then confirm password. Okay, so those are what we are supposed to be having. So just copy and paste out 3 more times. Copy and paste out 3 more times. So this first one is name, and this second one is going to be email. I'm going to quickly put this to be email. So just change up everything. So here is going to be enter your email. Okay. So for this one, we're supposed to have password. If I'm getting this spelling of password, then for the ID is going to be password. For the name, it's going to be password, and the value is also going to be password, and this is going to be enter password. Enter your password. Okay, so for this second password, it's also going to be input type of password. But this time around, the ID is going to be password 2 because we already have password ID. So we're going to have password 2 for the name. We're going to also have password 2, and the value is going to be password 2, and this is going to be confirm your password. So I'm going to take out this enter and have confirm your password. So I'm going to save out everything, and I'll go and try it out so that we can now include the submit button. I'll be good to go. Okay, so you can see we have enter your name, enter your email, enter your password, and confirm your password. So you can see our form is almost coming to play the right way. So we are having this design because we already have our custom CSS. That's what we're using to build this out. So that's why we're having this perfect design. Okay, so are we there? Class, are we there? We gone? Okay, nice one. So I'm gonna come just below the div. You can see this very div here. So I'm gonna set up another div with form group as the name, class name, and make sure that I close it immediately so that I don't run into problems. You all know that's how we do it. So once we create, we'll close it immediately so that we don't run into problems in future. Then inside is very deep form group. I'm gonna put in our button. So button submit type. Okay, I think this is what I want. So have button of type submit, and the class name will be btn and btn primary. That's not what I want. So I want btn block. Okay. Then right inside this, Okay, let me close first so that we'll still do the way we've been doing it. Button. Okay, then right inside this very button, let's put in our submit. Okay, so once we are done, I think we are cool. Button, the form section, and closing tag. Okay, so I think we're good. But by doing this, our form is okay. So we're gonna try to manage the local state now using use state. So I'm gonna go here and check it out. Okay, so you see our form is looking pretty good. So I have the text box for name, for email, for password, for confirm password and submit. So this is looking pretty good, well organized with good fonts from Font Awesome. Okay, so let's get back and complete it. So class, do we move on?
Which class you have to change?
App.js, okay. So if by any means your own is not running, then you should be asking me similar questions so that you can check out the various files and see that what you have there corresponds to what we also have in our own. So we're going to find out that in order to build out our login form, we just simply copy what is here in the register, put it there, and remove something. Because in login, we know from the way we tested out in Postman that we only use email and password. So it's going to basically be containing only email and password. So, like I said, the code we are building out is going to be the basis of your coding when you're building your application. So you can use this template that we're building, both the way we set up the store for your front end, and you have everything. So because here now, if you are looking at our folder structure now, you see that we have basically most things that you need. You need the app folder to connect to your store. You need the components for every component like header and footer that is going to be shared by the various pages. You need the feature to connect with your Redux toolkit. You need pages for the actual pages that is going to be routed. So those are the basic things you're supposed to have, and this should be your layout, the layout of your project moving forward. Okay. So I'm gonna go back to register form. Yeah, somebody wants to say something. Is it Sarah? Okay. Yeah. It's not mandatory, but it's cool. So if you guys will let me, then we'll move forward. That's what you want.
So please can you scroll down?
Okay. To the last part. That's the submit button part. Sorry, let me make sure this is still recording. Okay. Okay. Okay, class, do we move forward? So do we move forward?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's try to manage the state now. So let's come up here just below this React import. Let's try to import this name, export use state. That's what we're going to be using to manage the local state. And we're getting it from React, so we're importing the hook, the use state hook, so that we can use it to manage the local states for the form, so that they can take in inputs. Okay, so, and we know that whenever we bring in our use states, we are supposed to come right under the register. That is where we do that, right under the register, which is above the return. So let's get back a little bit. Don't take it too in. I want it to be on the same level as the return. So just at the same level as the return. Make sure you're there. Then let's now have the const. I want to bring in the structured array. So let's have somebody, Favor, I think Favor is speaking and is not on mute. So we're going to have all the data, the form data in one use state. So form data and set form data. Okay, I think that's what we see. Who is not on mute? So I'm gonna. Somebody is disturbing us. Who is that? Favor, is that you?
Shay, unmute your mic, Shay. It's Shay. Akin. Akin. Unmute his mic.
Jesus, who is worrying us now?
Okay.
Shay, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Please, you're not on mute and you're worrying us here. I don't know why.
Sorry, sir.
Okay. So class, are we able to be on this same level now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so like we know, whenever we're using the use states, we have to, this will be the variable, this is how it is set. Then in the use state, we are supposed to have the initial values, and we're using form data in order for us to use an object to capture all the data together. So we're going to be having name, that's part of the fields we have. Then apart from them, we're supposed to have email. Then apart from email, we're supposed to have password and password too. We know that. So password and password too. So those are the things we have. So please make sure that all of them are in your form. So let's say you're building a form that will, like jam registration form. You know, they have many other fields like states and the rest of them. So you're going to capture all of them here. But we are capturing only these four because those are the data we need. So if you're going to be building out for your, say, e-commerce, and you want to onboard your customers, so you need more information about your customers. and you should be able to capture them, all of them, inside form data. That's why you're using form data as our set function and the variable name, so that it will be in form of an object and capture everything at once. I believe that makes sense. Okay, so once we do that, we should also be able to get all these destructor, do object destructuring and get all these one by one, so that we can use them down in the form groups. So I'm going to simply say const, then inside this object destructuring, I'm going to be able to put all of them. Okay, that's what I mean. So I'm going to be able to destructure name, email, password, and password too. So instead of, whenever I want to use this name, which is part of this object form data, instead of saying form data.name, I'll just use only name, because I've destructured this. Instead of saying form data.email, I'll just use only email. Instead of saying form data.password, I'll use password. Instead of saying form data dot password 2, I will just use password 2. So that's the essence of this line. We need to destructure in order to get what we want. Okay, so do that so that we can move forward. Okay, so once we do this, we can now write out our various the unchange that will take care of all of them. I think that should be what I want. Okay, so this unchange is once you have a text field and you want to write in something into it, you're supposed to have the unchange where you will use the set form data. And because we are setting this up as an object, so instead of doing it this unchange one by one for all of them, we are simply going to be targeting the name and the value. So we spread this form data and target the name and the value. I believe we've done something like this in our previous class. So this is how we take all of them. We simply say const unchange equal to e is the event that we are passing in as the argument. Then we say set form data, and this set form data is actually this the function we're using to modify our state. Then inside brackets, we are going to have our curly bracket. Because this is an object, we are going to spread this very object form data. Then we'll now use this e.target.name as the key and the value to be e.target.value. So this is going to fetch every name and attach the value to it, so that we can simply get into this form now and start putting all of them. So I'll make sure that I release this value. Then I'll come down here and simply write my unchange. So I'm going to say unchange, and I quote it to the function. So what's the name of the function? I just created it now. The name is unchange. Okay, so do this for all of them. So I'm going to simply copy this, unchange equal to unchange, and I'll put it for all of them. So make sure that you're putting it now, you're able to release your value, because it's not going to give error again this time around. So I'm going to release this value, and I'm going to put this just below here. So I'll do for all of them except for the submit button. Okay, so I'm going to come here, password 2, no, don't put that. Okay, so I think all of them now has it. So with this, we can now start adding up. We can type into the form now. With this, we can type it to the form. So unchange is set form data. Please, so let's all do this and be on the same page. So please, I'm gonna do this in such a way as to capture the previous state. So please, once you're done, just do the ones I did first before you just add up this. So inside here, I want you to have the prev state. Okay. Prev state. My spelling for state is not right. So previous state, then just after this first prev, let's have this. Okay. Then we then have our this. Okay. So I'm gonna take this out here and put it here. So instead of copying the form data, it's gonna be spreading the previous state.
So can you just copy that line and paste it here?
Okay, I'll do that. I'll do that. Previous states. Okay. Yeah, this is what I want. So I'll copy this exactly the way it is.
Sir,
Yeah.
can you please explain this line?
Okay, I'll do that.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll do that. Let's get to the group. How am I having this? Whose face is showing? Somebody's. Okay, please. So, can we see this now? Are we seeing it on the charts?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let me break this down into various. Make it into various pages so that it will be clearer. Okay. Put this into this. Okay. So we have set from data. So it's taken in the previous states. And this, we'll take it to another line. Okay. And this one to another line. So I have e.target.name as the key and e.target.value as the value. Okay. So once I have this, I can put a comma here and take it to the next line. So I have closing, opening, then I can have one final closing in order not to have the error. So I can save now. So please set your own up that way so that we can explain it and move forward. Are we together? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what is happening here is we have const. Like we said, we all know that whenever we are having an input, say input type text, we are supposed to have unchange to take care of the whenever you're trying to type in. So what is happening here is that we are having this unchange, but this time around we are having it for the whole of this data. We don't want to be creating unchange for input type text. I mean for the ID of name or for the value of name, value of password 2, value of password 1. We don't want to be doing them individually. We want to capture them as form data. So what we now did here was that we said const onChange equal to passing our E, which is the event. And we now say set form data. We take in the previous, anything that was here before. You can see that the previous values are empty. So we use the spread operator to spread anything that was the previous value. Then anyone that changed, because sometimes you have to based on the name, the one you type in, that's the one that has changed, and we are monitoring that using e.target.name. So let's say we have name of name. This is name of name. So we are attaching the value of email to it. I mean name of email. We are attaching the value of email. So if the name is name and the value is its name. So for this name, this is the value. For this very name, this is the value. So if the name is name, the value is also name. If the name is email, the value is also email. If the name is password, the value is also password. If the name is password 2, the value is password 2. So that is what it's trying to tell us here, that we are going to set the form data at this very point where the name, the e.target.name is having this e.target.value. So this, you just have to lay it out exactly the way that we just laid it out here. Don't try to memorize it, but just know that with this setup now, for as many inputs as you have, this will take care of no matter the number. Does it make sense? Okay. So like I said, don't try to memorize it. Just know that that is how it should be. Okay, so having the unchanged, I think the last thing we'll do is to attach onSubmit and create the onSubmit for this very form. So I'm going to simply come to the head of this form. This is the form here. So I want to be able to click the submit button and have this button submitted. So I'm simply going to come here and say onSubmit. So what do I want to submit? So on submit, I want it to call this very function on submit. So this very function now, we're going to write it just below this. So we're going to have, I think that's what I want, but const on submit equal to e.yeah, and because we don't want it to behave like want to prevent the code, we don't want it to refresh, so we'll say e.prevent default, then we'll close it out. Okay, so that's about it. So once you're done and you save and you don't have any error, then you know you've done a good job. So I think our register form is complete now. The screen for the register form. So let's try and do same for login. So if I now go to my page, think I can now type in here and say, enter your name. My name is Augustine Emeka. Enter my email, C332 password. You can use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or anything. So at least you can now type in. So with that, the form is working the way it should. So the unchanged events are being taken care of now. So please do send for yours and let me know that you're good so that we can build out the login form. So we're going to see how easy it is to build out the login form just by copying what we have here into our login.jsx. Please let me know when you're done so that we can move forward. Okay, Sarah is done. Who else is done? Who else is done? Do we move on? Okay, you're also done. Okay, so since most of us are done, so that's what I will assume. So I'm just going to copy everything that is here. Everything, just copy everything. Everything that is in the register.jsx. Let's pick everything. This export, right? Okay, let me just copy everything. Then I'll go to the login.jsx. I'm going to replace everything, not even one thing, so that I can make the changes line by line. So this export register is now going to be export login, because that's the name. Export the port login. So I'm going to go up here and FA user, where I have FA user, I'm going to have sign in auth, because that's what I'm going to be using, FA sign in auth. So I'm going to take out this user because I want the sign in icon to be there. So you're going to be FA sign in auth. So that's what I'm going to be having there. So the function here is going to be const register. Instead of register, I'm going to be having const login. But we're using arrow function here. So login, that's what we're supposed to have there. So instead of having all these, I'm supposed to have only email and password. So I'm going to take out this last password 2. I'm also going to take out name. Okay, so I'm having only email and password. And do I really need this destructor for this very one? Might not need it for now, but I can still leave it. So let me take out the ones I don't need. This password too. And I'm going to take out this name. Okay. So I'm going to leave this other one exactly the way they are, both these unchanged and on submit. Then I'll come down here. So instead of having register, I'm simply going to have login. Then instead of having FA user, I'm going to have FA sign in out. I believe that's what I had up here. Is that what I imported? Sign out instead of sign in out. So I'm going to make sure it's written well. Okay. FA sign in out. Okay. So that's what I'm supposed to have. FA sign in out. Okay. So please make sure that you have yours exactly that way. So instead of saying login and start creating an account, instead of saying please create an account, I'm going to have here login and start creating accounts. Okay. Okay. So for the name form group, I don't need this form group for name. So I'm going to take it out. So I'll take it out. So I need email and password. So for the password too, I'm also going to take it out. So we'll take out password too as well. Okay. So once that is out, I believe everything is now okay. We still have our submit and the rest. So that is what we need to have. So I'm going to do Control S to save. If I'm not having any error, then we know we are good. Okay, so I don't seem to be having errors. So I'm going to quickly get back to my browser and check it out. So this is our login page. These are register page. If I click on this login, okay, login and start creating accounts. So I believe this is okay, and it can take in some input. Okay, so this is working perfectly. Okay, so we have our two pages, login and register, working, and you can see the splitting lightning speed is the routing is done. So this is cute. So please let me know that we're on the same page so that we can move forward. Fumilola, you're saying something?
No, sir.
Okay. So please test out the application so far before we can start Redux integration. So we want to start Redux integration now. That's the next thing we'll do now. So let's use Redux to connect this application. Or are we tired? Are we tired? If you are tired, we can do this tomorrow because I think we still have a virtual class tomorrow for React.
Sir,
Yeah.
should we change the submit in the login line for login?
Okay. I think that's better. It should be better than saying submit. Since we did submit for the register, I think it will be better we change it to login.
Sir, please, where did you call the submit function?
Okay. So, is it for the login page or the register page?
For the login page.
Okay, so it's just the same place we called it for the register page. We did not change that. So this is the form on submit equal to on submit. Can you see that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sorry, but you have to be on mute. Okay, so let me check out this login I just changed. Okay, it's now login. I go to register. So, class, do we rest and come back? Or do we keep going? What's the time now?
Back.
Do we rest and check back in 30 minutes? To make sure everybody's on the same page. So that if you're having issues, I'll just copy the code and also post for you to look at. But I believe most people are following, Abby. There's no issues with the code. Is it?
We are following it.
Is it? Okay. So what do we do? Do we keep going? So,
So I think we should keep going so we can finish early.
okay, nice one. I love that. Okay. So let's keep going. So let's quickly get back to our back to our terminal. So let's check the terminal that is still in. Okay, this is where we are running the front end and back end. Let's kill this very operation by saying Ctrl C. Remember, this is the terminal for our back end. So we want to kill it first. Then we want to also go to the front end and kill the front end as well, Ctrl C, because we want to be able to run both the front end and back end using one script. So that's what we will try to do now. We want to be able to run both using one script. So this is still in front end. So I'm going to come to this first one that I killed. This is React Auth backend, which is the root folder. So make sure that you're in your root folder directory. So I want us to install a module known as concurrently. With that concurrently module, you should be able to run both the front end and back end together. So here in the root directory, I'm going to simply say npm, please help me and install it as a dependency. That's D is for dependency. So I want you to install concurrently for me. Please help me install concurrently. Okay, so this concurrently is a tool or can use to write a script that can run both the front end and the back end. So do that. Okay. So it's going to install this as a dev dependency. Once you pull that D, then it's installing it as a dev dependency. So I'm going to quickly close down all these so that we can get to the backend package.json where we can set up the script that will help these to work. Okay, so close up everything, then get to this package.json, the one in the root folder. Okay, so these are our dependencies. You're going to see this dev dependency known as concurrently. You can see it here, it's already here. So it's installing it, but you can see it's already here. So we have two dev dependencies, nodemon and concurrently. So these dev dependencies are dependencies that you use only for development. When you're pushing your app to Heroku or to anywhere you want to host it, you don't need nodemon and concurrently to go with them. So they are just for development. So these ones that are normal dependencies are the ones that your app actually need to work even at the production level. But these dev dependencies are needed for me to quickly develop so that I don't need to be going to the backend and front end to be running my servers every time. So that is why we're using concurrently. So concurrently is used to run both two. If you want to run two servers at the same time, that's what we use it for. Whereas nodemon is used to run and watch for changes. So those are the two important dependencies that we have. So if you're done installing, then let me know. Let me know. Okay,
I'm done, sir.
nice one, nice one. So once you're done, then simply, yeah, thank you. I love that. I love that. So right under the client, nice one, nice one. Everybody's done. So get to this script side again. We're going to add one more script, the one we're going to be using to run both the front end and back end. So we're going to call that script dev. That's what we're going to call it. We're going to call it dev so that once we say npm run dev, it will run both the front and back end. So once we do it, it's going to run npm run front end and back end. So I'm going to simply come up here and inside double quotes, I'm going to be able to use the concurrently model that I just installed. So I'm going to say concurrently, please help me and do, whenever I do npm run dev, I want you to help me and do the following. So what do I want it to do? I want it to do npm run server, which is for the back end. So this will run the back end. But then I don't want only the back end to be run. I want it to also run for me npm run client. So those are the two. I'm gonna close it out and double this. So this is what I want to have. So anytime I say npm run dev, I want concurrently to help me and do npm run server and as well npm run client. So it's going to run these two scripts at the same time. This server, which is nodemon backend, and this client, which is npm start, are the prefix of front end. So one command is going to be able to run the code for me this time around.
Sorry, sir, can you please explain that again?
Okay, so I said that we want to be able to, once we say npm run dev, we want both the server and the client to be running at the same time. So we installed a module known as concurrently that will help us to run two scripts at the same time. So the two scripts that is being run, whenever you say concurrently, whenever you say npm run dev, it's going to run npm run server, which is what we would have used to run the server, then npm run client. So this slash that is given is anytime we want to, if you're inside a quote and you still want to bring in another quote, you have to bring them in by using slash to escape them. So this slash is for escape. So this is simply saying concurrently run npm run server and npm run client. But because they are in quotes, that's why we introduce these slashes to escape them. Are we clear on that? Okay. So now that we've closed all the services, nothing is running now. You can see that all of them, nothing is running in all of them. So I'm going to come to this first terminal and now test out this script that I just wrote by saying npm run dev. So with this dev now, I'm going to have both my front end and back end up at the same time. So before I do that, I'm going to go close out these. How did I open this one? So let me close it. Let me close it so that, yeah, so it's closed now. So that once it's done starting up, it will boot up by itself. So npm run dev should run both the front end and back end together. So that is how you should do it when you are developing. Okay. So Fahrenheit said his devices are currently out of power, stepping out quickly to tell them. Okay, so we have an issue, npm run dev. So where is the issue from? Yeah. Okay, I didn't save. Oh, that's true. So I'm going to do Control S to save, and I'll run it again. So please, missing script dev, that means it's not seeing dev yet. That means I did not save. So please save and run and see what else will give you. Okay, so you can see concurrently it's now running both scripts. Okay. Okay, so you can see here it's using node1 to run the back end, and here it's using npm start to run the front end. So it's running both scripts. Okay, so you can see here the back end is being started, and it's also going to start up the front end. So it's running the both scripts together in order to run the two development servers, both for the front end and for the back end. Sorry, some people are making noise. Just manage. I'm in a place where I can have you for a long time.
Sir, hello?
Yeah, Sarah.
My charger just
Jeez. Jesus. Jesus.
I'm so confused right now. It literally just blew.
Wow. Sorry. Sorry. And please, do we give ourselves 30 minutes? For
I'm going to find a replacement for this
oh,
person.
okay.
So I'm just going to the recording
Okay.
so I
Okay.
can see them.
How do we continue tomorrow? What do you guys think? Because we want to enter the Redux proper. So I think I really need everybody to be participating in it. Yeah, someone wanted to see.
We can continue tomorrow.
Okay. Tomorrow, yeah. Because what we'll have tomorrow is the yeah. So we're going to be having virtual like this tomorrow. So tomorrow we'll complete it out. And please make sure we'll do tomorrow. We'll do normal time. Let's do 9 in the morning. Can we do 9? Is everybody comfortable with 9? 9 is cool. So that our brains will be when our brain will be very fresh. As you're waking up, that's when you need to take in the Redux. Abby? So let's let's do 9. Let's do 9. But it's gonna be very interesting. Yeah. So I hope we enjoyed it. I hope we enjoyed it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you all. Thanks for your time. Yeah. See you when I see you. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I'm gonna pop in the recording very soon. You're gonna see it on the group chat. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So this is where we stopped. This our login page is looking. Is it looking cute? Tell me, class. Is it looking cute?
Yes.
The login and register. Okay. Okay. So somebody wants to say something. Okay. So thank you very much for joining the class. See you when I see you. Bye bye. Do we need attendance? Okay, just say present in Slack. Let that do for our attendance, okay? Okay, so thank you. See you when I see you. God bless you. Bye.